Hello, welcome to everybody to a new video on personal data protection and privacy. In this occasion, we're going to resolve the first practice of the module 4 of protecting personal data and privacy in order to show you the general approach that you have to follow when uploading the solution of a practice, of any of these modules. So the first thing that you have to do is to have a general overview of the text of the practice. For example, in this case, it's indicated that in this practice, we're going to show the abilities of web browsers to manage the credentials used to logging into websites and applications. Later, in a second step, we will see that not all browsers are the same, and we will introduce Tor, a web browser centered on privacy that protect the identity of the user. And finally, we will see how to deal with these credentials by using the smartphone. So let's begin by reading the text. The text indicates that most browsers have a password manager that, with the user's authorization, records the username and password of each website that we navigate through, and that this log data can be managed from the web browser itself in order to change it, remember it, and even evaluate its protection length. Here appears an image of what's the appearance of the password manager in Google Chrome. The access to the password manager can be done by using our favorite browser. For example, we can write passwords google.com in Chrome or about logins in Firefox. So let's begin to manage our passwords in Google Chrome. So we open a new tab, okay, and here we write the passwords google.com. Here appears the option of reviewing our passwords, okay, and the information on 267 websites and applications. So, in answer to the first question, how many website credentials are in our password manager, okay, we have to give the answer that there are 267 websites. So, for example, in order to show that you have completed this part, you can take a screenshot by pressing print screen, okay, and then you can copy this part and then remark the part that's interesting for us, for example, by clicking on the pencil and then marking here. Okay, once that you have done this, you can copy and paste this into an empty document, let's say, for example, in Word or in LibreOffice, right? So you can copy this and you can include later some, or afterwards, some information. For example, I have 267 different credentials in Google Chrome. Okay, so after this, you can continue with the rest of the practice. Did you expect so many? And then you need to provide some additional comment here. For example, you may say, I did not expect so many. For example, although I've been working with Chrome since many years ago, I expected around, let's say, for example, 100 or so. The idea is that you realize that Google Chrome or any other browser collects a lot of information when you work through the internet. Okay, each time that you introduce some credentials on any website, okay, Google Chrome asks you if it should collect it, okay, in order to track it or to record it or not. Okay, so in my case, this is a very useful ability of Google Chrome and also Firefox and other web browsers. So all of us use it, okay, to avoid having in mind or knowing by heart the credentials of every place, every website. So the next, we have resolved this. Did we expect so many? And then we have another question. That's can we modify them from the browser? Well, the answer in this case is yes, we can modify them. Because, for example, in this case, I'm going to change my password of Amazon, right? Of course, this is not a real password. Okay, in my case, I enter again into this account, okay, and here appears for the account of Amazon. If I click on this, okay, here appears the current password, okay, in this case narrator of tales, okay, but with some special characters, because you know that is very useful in order to achieve a correct strength in the password, to include some special characters, digits, and uppercase and lowercase letters. In this case, for example, I'm going to change the uppercase letter E. We have to click on edit, okay, and now here I'm going to change the uppercase letter E with a digit 3. So we save it, okay, and now it's correctly included here, right? So now we can go backwards, okay, and the password has been changed. Of course, you have to take additional screenshots for this, okay? For example, you may take a screenshot for this, okay, where appears that you are including, you are accessing, okay, the Amazon account or any other account of yours. Example, I will change my Amazon's password, okay, and I can say here, clicking on edit, I may change it, right? And here we click on edit, and then we can take a screenshot of this, okay. You can click on this and you can paste it here. Of course, the idea is that you resize the different documents, or sorry, the different images here, okay, so at the end you have a good document, okay, a document with a good layout. So after this, you show, for example, the first value and and that you actually can change it by whatever you want. Okay, so let's leave here the 3, and that's all. The next question is if our change has synchronized with other different devices, as for example with the smartphone, the tablet, and the computer. Okay, so in my case, I'm going to show you my smartphone. This is my smartphone, okay. Here, I'm going to access the passwords.google.com. Okay, here are my passwords, but in the mobile, okay, a completely different device. And if I go again to the Amazon, okay, we'll see that has been changed the original password by a different one. The information that I've just changed, okay, with the value of 3 instead of the uppercase letter E. Okay, so In this case also, you may take a snapshot of your mobile phone, for example. Okay, you can take a photo, or you can take a screenshot in order to copy it, okay, in the Word document. Okay, so you may say, yes, it is synchronized with my mobile phone. And you paste it, right? Of course, you can cut it, or you can resize it, or you can crop it. Okay. And the final question in this practice is that, are we provided with some feedback related to privacy vulnerability? Well, you have seen that when we access the password manager, okay, appears on top the option to review the passwords in the case of Google account. Okay, so we go to the review of passwords, we check the passwords, okay, and the system tells us that I have 10 passwords with some vulnerability. We have also a lot of reused passwords, okay, and even from all my passwords, there are 156 passwords that are very weak, okay. In my case, this is not a problem, because from all of these reused passwords, okay, they belong to private servers, so for me it's not a problem. But if this is not your case, okay, then you should resolve this problem. These vulnerabilities belong in this case to websites that I don't use anymore. So in order to show also this, you have to take a screenshot, okay, of this, and then you have to copy also into the document. So here you may say, for example, yes, Google Chrome allows to check vulnerabilities. Okay, with this, to finish this part, okay, to finish this part, you may check that also other web browsers, like for example Firefox, allows us checking our passwords and storing and tracking all our credentials. Okay, in order to do this, we can open a Firefox session. I have it here, okay, and write about logins. And here we have all my passwords in the Firefox web browser. In this case, from the very beginning, the system is telling me that there is some vulnerability in my account of Thingiverse, okay, because it was some leakage of passwords, okay. In addition, appears here that also in NVIDIA, and that there are some other vulnerabilities in some specific places, okay, and that these are the alerts. And of course, we can change also the different passwords, okay, by accessing to them. So in general, Firefox works the same than Google Chrome. Well, now let's continue with the two remaining parts of this practice. From now on, and in order to go a bit faster, I'm not going to show you how you have to take the different screenshots of the practice and to paste into a Word document, okay? Because I think that with which I've already shown you, okay, it's enough. So you have to proceed exactly the same with the rest of, or with the remaining parts of this practice. So now let's continue, as I say, with the next part. In addition to the most widely known browsers, there are less known alternatives oriented to improve privacy. The Tor browser is a privacy-oriented browser that allows users to browse the internet anonymously and securely. It utilizes the Tor network, which is a network of volunteers that help protect users' privacy by routing the internet traffic through multiple encrypted layers. This means that when we access to the internet through a Tor browser, we are not accessing directly the web page that we want to consult, but instead we walk around, okay, through many different internet sites until we reach the destiny, the target website, the target page. Basically, the idea is that you have to install the Tor browser from www.torproject.org, open it and connect to the Tor network to access to well-known websites, like for example the one of your university. So, as I say, what you have to do is to download the browser Tor. Okay, that's very easy. You download it here, and once that you have done this, okay, you can open it in order to continue with this practice. The first thing that you should do when you connect to the browser is to connect to the network, and once that you connect, will appear the possibility of searching the internet through a searcher named DuckDuckGo. So let's continue then with the practice. So the first thing that is asked to us is Tor a fast web browser? Why do you think it is slower than, for example, Google Chrome? Well, Tor actually is not a fast web browser because, as I say, it has to work around the internet and goes from point to point, okay, following a long path from our address in internet to the destiny address. Okay, so because it follows many steps to reach wherever we want to access, it is slower than any other browser. So for example, but in any case it's not too much a slow one. So here, for example, we can look for universities of, let's say, Spain. Okay, well, you may see that's currently, some years ago, Tor was a very slow browser, but nowadays with a faster internet, okay, we can say it's not as bad. So you can click on them, but in any case, okay, you may see that is slightly slower than Google Chrome. And because of this, we have give an answer to this, okay? Why is Tor slower than Google Chrome? In any case, you can ask also the internet for this. For example, why Tor is slower than Chrome. And you will see here, for example, that Chrome prioritizes the fastest route for whatever traffic is passed through it, while Tor purposefully routes traffic in unconventional ways to improve anonymity. Okay, so that's basically the reason of Tor being slower than Chrome. So with this, we have resolved this part. Now it says that we should try to access Google.com. Can we access straightforwardly to Google? Why do you think that Google is difficult to reach with the Tor browser? Let's see why. If we try to gain access to Google through this, google.com, well, sometimes is accessed and sometimes is not accessed. In this case, for example, you may see that Google is accessed here in my case in German, while I'm accessing here from Spain. Why does it appear in German? Well, very easy, because I'm accessing following a different path, a different route. Probably I've connected from Spain to, let's say, Croatia, and from Croatia, let's say, to Slovenia, from Slovenia to Estonia, and to Estonia, let's say, to Germany, and from Germany I'm accessing to Google. And therefore Google thinks that I'm a German because the last step in this interconnection has been made from Germany. Okay? In general, Google earns money by tracking what the user does. Okay, because of this, we can say that in general may be difficult to gain access to Google, because if we reach Google using an unconventional path, Google tracks wrong information, and that's not good for Google. And because of that, sometimes Google, instead of displaying the main page, displays a message that says that your IP address is incorrect, and well, forces you to do a very complex captcha and so on. So that's the main reason, because of Google doesn't like too much Tor. Well, and finally, here is said that the website whatismyipaddress.com can be used to reveal the IP address, our internet address, given by our internet provider. So we should try to access to this website through Tor and through our web browser. For example, if I access to this URL is directly from Google, okay, it said here that I'm in Malaga, okay, and that this is my IP, okay, because the system, my computer through Google Chrome, has access directly to this website, what is my IP address. However, if I access to this from the Tor browser, the result is rather different. Okay, rather different. In this case, it says that I'm accessing from some point of Mexico, or perhaps or from some part of the United States. Okay, so the system, in this case, I'm accessing this website following a very long path in which it's very likely that the last step is in Mexico or in the United States. So this gives the answer to this. We don't obtain the same IP, and the map doesn't show the same geographical location. So this way we can conclude that yes, Tor better protects our privacy. Finally, to finish this practice, let's focus on the third and last step that's asked to us. So finally, regarding privacy issues, every smartphone application requires permissions from users to perform some of their functionalities, like for example contact access, access to the location, and so on. This of course depends on your mobile phone, okay, and not only if it works with iOS or Android, but also inside the same operating system, inside Android, okay, we have different flavors and different versions that may change the way in which we may have access to the different options to deal or to address the privacy issues. As here is indicated, the access of this information depends on the information, on the operating system. So you have here a screenshot of an Android device. So this part of the practice is to work in our smartphone. Okay, you have to find where the permission requested by each application can be reviewed, usually in settings, apps. Okay, so the first thing that we are asked for is which apps have permission to access our contacts. Okay, so in order to see this, okay, we can go to our mobile phone. Okay, here is my mobile phone, and then we have to gain access to the configuration, okay, or settings. Then in settings you have to go forwards until you find applications, and in applications appears here all the applications, but in these 3 points, okay, you can manage the permissions. So if we click on permissions, okay, here appears the manager of permissions, and here we may see that there are 17 of 28 applications that can use the contacts. Okay, and here you have the different applications. Okay, so here you can go down, okay, to see all the applications that are allowed to access. The next question is a bit more difficult because we are asked for which is the app that requires highest number of permissions. This is relatively complex because the information given to us about each application doesn't provide such a piece of data, that is the number of permissions that have required. So the only solution is to go again to the permission managers, okay? And here, for example, in archives and multimedia content, okay, we may see the different applications that have access to them. Then the idea is that you track, okay, the name of the application and put a tick, okay, along with the name of each application. Okay, here you have around 17 ones, right? And then you proceed exactly the same with the rest of permissions. So for example, in the calendar, right, that here we have 4 applications, the calendar itself, Connect, Gmail and Google, right, and so on. You proceed exactly the same with each of them. For example, the camera is accessed by settings, camera, Chrome, Connect, Gmail, Google, Skype, WhatsApp, and so on. So when you finish with all of them, basically you will know the application that has the greatest number of ticks, indicating which is the application with the biggest number of permissions. Okay, some Android flavors may provide straightforwardly the number of permissions provided by each application. Okay, but that's not my case here. So this is the only way to know which is the application with the highest number of permissions. I think that in my case the highest number of permissions is required, I think, by Google. So let's go to Google here. Okay, and yes, you may see here that requires calendar, contacts, nearby devices, microphone, phone calls, SMS, telephone, and location. Okay, so this is basically the application that requires the highest number of permissions. Also, if I don't remember bad, WhatsApp also requires a lot of permissions. Okay, archives and multimedia content, the camera, contacts, microphone, telephone, and location also. Okay, so this is the way to proceed with this part. Once that you have finished of listing all of your applications, okay, all the applications that doesn't appear in that list are those applications that doesn't require any permissions. So this gives an answer to how many apps doesn't or do not require any permission. Okay, so this way of proceeding gives an answer to also this other question. And finally, regarding the apps that require highest number of permissions, do they show ads? Do you think that they make money by showing you ads? Well, the answer is that actually this depends. For example, in the case of Google, you know that when you perform some search operation through Google, Google provides you with advertisements. Okay, so yes, they are making money by showing you ads. Okay, in other cases, like for example with WhatsApp, they make money not only by using your personal your information about searching or showing you ads, but also by using the text that you write in your instant messages, okay, in order to train their artificial intelligence systems. Okay, so they are making money that way, training their system to improve them and later to sell them or as a service in order to give a service to the people. Okay, so in general, all these permissions, yes, are used in many cases by the mobile applications to make money. Of course, many of these permissions are simply used to be functional in the applications. Okay, for example, a mobile application that takes a QR code, okay, of course needs the permission to gain access to the camera, and that's not something from which the application makes money in any way. Okay, so well, with this basically we finish this practice. Of course, don't forget that you have to take a screenshot of each of these parts, okay, put into the Word document, because that Word document is what you have to submit to show that you have performed the task successfully. Okay, that's all. See you in the next video.